Hello, audience. My name is Dawson. His name is Justin.
Hello.
Welcome back to Nerdom News today. In the news, we just got word from the man himself, Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel Studios, and that means the head of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, saying that after Avengers 4, there might not be a Phase 4 to the MCU.
Okay, so I know you said you want to hear my reaction, and I've already heard this.
Okay,
And one interpretation of it is it's not going to be a phase four in the way that we've known the past three phases.
that's what I was trying to get into.
Okay.
I've read everything. But I'm going to read some quotes real quick. It's kind of long quotes, but definitely something that should be said from the man himself. I don't want to misquote him at all, and I definitely don't want to get anything wrong. So, from the words of Kevin Feige, when he sat down with Collider, they talked about the future of the MCU, and he said, certainly, as we get into Infinity War, there's a sense of climax, if not conclusion, to by a conclusion too, by the end of the entitled Avengers 4, the 22 movies that will have encompassed the first three phases of the MCU. So basically, what that means is, I mean, after 22 movies, one continuous story is probably getting pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he goes on to say, and what happens after that will be very different. I don't know if it's Phase 4. It might just be a new thing, which I'm kind of excited for because, of course, we do have a few movies that are kind of that are announced for the second or for the I guess the new phase of the MCU, not necessarily a fourth phase of this continuing storyline from Iron Man in 2008 to this Avengers 4 in what 2020 or 2019. What
I
years?
think it's 2019. Or no, it's 28. Yeah, it's 2019. Yeah.
Okay. We do have Captain Marvel. We do have Doctor Strange 2. I think it's almost
Guardians 3.
inevitable. Huh?
Guardians 3.
Yeah, and I think it's also inevitable that we'll be getting a Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I
Um,
think Sony has already went on record saying that there will be another Spider-Man movie after Homecoming.
yeah. So I mean, we do have more movies planned. I mean, there are definitely more stories to tell with these characters that are already established. But when it comes to, like Feige said, a Phase 4, that is just it's not really in the cards at this moment in time. Of course, we still have a few more years for them to think about it and sit down and kind of, have a chance to rework the cinematic universe, maybe a new, not necessarily a reboot because we don't really want a reboot to the Avengers. We don't want a reboot to a lot of these very famous characters like Iron Man and Thor and Captain America, but it's definitely at this point in time, you know, these characters, these contracts are going to be coming up soon, and we don't really want to. We don't want these character stories to be kind of left on the table. We kind of need a conclusion to them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like one of the biggest things. Like especially with the inclusion of Tony Stark in Spider-Man: Homecoming, right? Having Spider-Man 2 not have Tony in it, that there needs to be some reason for that. There needs to be some type of conclusion to his story. So, I mean, there's a rhyme and reason for everything, and I'm gonna trust Feige since he's been the godfather of the Marvel Cinematic Universe since the very beginning. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have gotten the great movies we've had so far, and definitely wouldn't have had the stories that they have told. Um, so, Justin, what do you think about the end of the MCU as we know it?
It's kind of hard to think what the future will be like. Be it'll probably feel more or less the same
Yeah,
after Avengers 4. It just won't be called Phase 4, but it'll probably be very similar in structure. Um, but probably it might be more of like standalone movies almost compared to like every story or every movie is just one part of a huge story.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
And it doesn't mean that they can't continue, like with Guardians 3, doesn't mean they're not going to continue with what they've already told in the first two Guardians. I mean, just, it's not going to have any larger impact on the MCU. That's kind of what that means, right? I mean, that's
what it could possibly mean. Because until we get like more clarification on this is the structure we're thinking about going forward, it's kind of hard to interpret these words because it could mean a million different things for the universe moving forward.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna say definitely gonna be hard to say goodbye to these characters, but I mean, we have gotten a decade with these guys with 22 movies, and you know, it's been a good run. But I do agree with a lot of people. You know, there's been so many people that have enjoyed the MCU and will love to see these characters go on and on and on. But it's better to stop when you're ahead. And they're ahead. They're the biggest storytellers, especially linear storytellers, making movies right now. So, and then there's plenty of stories still to tell. It's just when it comes to the larger story, the larger picture, it's just Avengers 4 will probably be the conclusion to all three of these phases. But yeah.
That's pretty much it for us, guys. Let us know down below, what do you think this possible phase 4, not phase 4, what this could possibly mean for the future of the MCU. But until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.